For those addicted to opioids who live in the more rural part of our state, there's an additional hurdle to fighting addiction. They have to travel several hours each day to receive treatment.
Cronkite News reporter Bryce Newberry met one family near the New Mexico border and followed along on their trip to a methadone clinic.
Yeah, this is something Maggie Phillips has done for years. It's part of the routine in her family. But she said for people still addicted to opioids and even considering this type of treatment, it's a huge commitment to even get started.
Say hi. Good morning.
Once a month.
It's time to wake up and get ready for school, okay?
As the sun comes up in Morenci,
Don't go back to sleep.
it's a race to get out the door of the Phillips household.
They're still pretty little, so they go to the clinic with me. I don't think the 4- and 3-year-old quite grasp what it is I'm doing there yet.
While 8-year-old Jackson heads to school, Maggie Phillips loads her 2 toddlers, Jason and Jesse, into the car for the nearly 1-hour drive each way to Safford. The drive required for Maggie to get her monthly supply of methadone. She first used opioids when she was 15 years old. The occasional pill taking turned into regular use of OxyContin and then heroin.
But I personally don't ever want to be back there again. That is the worst place I've ever been in my life. I've said to people that I would rather give birth every day for the rest of my life than ever feel withdrawals or be sick again. It's awful.
So awful, she knew she had to get help. After discovering her first pregnancy, Maggie says she didn't want her baby born addicted to drugs. She chose medication-assisted treatment, also known as MAT.
I've been on it for 4 years now. I feel even different than I did when I was like a kid. You know, I've always kind of struggled with stuff, and so I feel healthier and happier now than I ever have in my life.
Approved by the FDA, methadone is a synthetic, long-acting opiate that the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration says helps people quit or reduce their use of heroin or other opiates. For Maggie, it's been life-changing.
I have never felt high from methadone. So even though I'm dependent on it, physically dependent on it, and if I don't take it, I will start to feel sick, I am not addicted to it.
Not addicted, but in the beginning, she had to travel 4 hours to Tucson every single day for her daily dose of methadone.
Not only does it cost a lot of money, but we don't make a lot of money, and that's our only car.
Federal law requires supervised use of methadone until a patient earns their privileges by doing things like maintaining abstinence, showing up regularly, and staying away from criminal activity. Maggie's drive has gotten a bit easier since August when she started going to a new clinic in Safford. She meets with her counselor via video conference.
I'm doing good too, thank you.
And gets methadone refills for the month. Keith Jeffrey manages the Safford clinic.
It's not just medication. It's behavioral therapy, it's groups, it's substance abuse groups, it's workforce development, it's all those things. It's not just medication.
This clinic just opened in 2018, and so far, it's already serving nearly 80 patients with behavioral and methadone therapies. But opening up here in Safford was no easy feat.
I'm not really a big fan of maybe somebody getting hooked on another drug to get off of a drug.
Which is a perception a lot of people share, but advocates say it's not true.
Some of the biggest misconceptions, I believe, is you're trading one drug for another, you're just perpetuating the substance abuse cycle.
Sheriff Allred says he just wants a drug-free community.
The methadone clinic won't work for everyone either. But if it works for some, then I'm all for it. Because I want people in our community to be, you want your community to be drug-free in any sense of the word.
A Harvard Medical School study says 25% of MAT patients eventually become abstinent, 25% continue to take the drug, and 50% go on and off methadone repeatedly.
Traveling with kids. Oh, it's so fun.
The methadone treatment has worked for Maggie, who hopes to someday wean herself off, in part thanks to the encouragement from her husband.
He's just incredibly supportive, but grounded and realistic at the same time, and he nicely encourages me to always have goals and stuff when I seem to forget.
What she won't forget, she says,
Love you, buddy.
are the 3 reasons she's sober in the first place.
My entire sobriety kind of revolves around my kids, because I wanted to be a good mom for them, and they didn't ask to be here.
And Bryce, Maggie is not alone. Addiction is a problem across the entire state of Arizona. Are there any other locations across the state of these methadone clinics where people can get help?
Yeah, so other companies do operate across the state, but Community Medical Service is the largest in Arizona. They operate 12 locations in the state, and they're currently working on opening 6 more clinics in rural areas like Nogales, Yuma, and also Sierra Vista.
Thank you, Bryce.